Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Over the last few days, and including 2 weeks ago, our state and region has experienced significant winter weather events unlike any in recent memory. It could have been much worse, but to those who are still without power, it remains pretty bad. Our purpose in gathering here today is to remind everyone being affected that help is here and getting to you. That our emergency management team is still working around the clock to see that all those in need are helped. We've asked Duke Progress to be with us today, and in a minute, we'll hear the latest update from them on the power outages. As the storm clouds gathered earlier this week, the well-trained and prepared emergency managers on our county team initiated the plans that shape our response during such events. Ensuring that the needs of our most vulnerable citizens were met first, their focus was also on getting the word out to all of our citizens to stay safe on the roadways, to be aware of the needs of our neighbors, and to depend upon our capable 911 team if an emergency arose. I watched earlier this week as Debbie Cottle and her incredible 911 team managed the huge spike in emergency calls coming in. It was humbling to be in the presence of such dedicated, poised, and capable emergency personnel. No weather event goes as planned, and even the best weather forecasters do not know exactly what will transpire until Mother Nature arrives in town. But the job of our emergency management responders is always to expect the worst and to be prepared for it. It's also our job as elected officials and leaders to provide oversight to these professionals and to use 20/20 hindsight as we survey our plans and ask questions. Did we perform up to the citizens' expectations? Are there areas where we can improve? So that is why our board will ask for and we will receive a briefing at our agenda review in March from our county emergency staff, public information officer, and sheriff, etc., of where we got it right, and to review whether there are areas of response where we could improve. Citizens expect and deserve our very best at all times, particularly in times of emergency. We must always see to it that we're doing everything possible to get it right all the time. Thank you to all of our team at the county, and all of whom are sleep deprived at this point, for their dedication and hard work. At this time, I'm going to ask John Elliott from Duke Progress to make a couple of comments and give us an update on the power outages. Also present with us today is Joe Saladin, who is with our environmental management team to talk about debris pickup, which is the next step to take to make sure we get our community back where it needs to be. The sheriff is here with us. Our other county commissioners are here, and we open it for questions at this time. But before we do that, I'd like John Elliott to come up and say a word. John, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. I am John Elliott. I am the director of Duke Energy East, and I'd like to provide a quick update on where we are related to power outages here in New Hanover County. About 12,000 customers, or about 11% of the 116,000 customers that we serve in New Hanover County, are currently without electricity. This is a major improvement from Wednesday afternoon when we had about 50,000 customers out, or about 43% of our customers were without power. We hope to restore power to the vast majority of our New Hanover County customers by midnight Saturday, though a few may go into Sunday morning. Due to the extensive storm damage throughout New Hanover County, some of our customers are certainly experiencing multi-day outages. The damage that we received in New Hanover County is not something where we go and turn a breaker on or flip a fuse in. We experienced extensive damage to poles, wires on the ground, transformers, and other electrical equipment that takes hours to restore, hours to build, and there's damage throughout the county. Trees were the main culprit of this. We have limbs and trees that are in lines that have to be removed, and then have to have crews that have to physically go rebuild the system that we have worked so hard to maintain. We have brought in crews from as far away as Ohio, Florida, and Indiana to assist us in this restoration effort, as well as the native Duke Energy crews from across the state. Each of the outages that we have in New Hanover County has a crew assigned to it. We are making steady progress today We will continue to make progress throughout the afternoon and this evening and into tomorrow. We are certainly would like to thank our customers for their patience. Our crews are working just as quickly and as safely as they can to restore power to all residents. No one at Duke Energy will go home, stop their storm response until every customer in New Hanover County has been restored. I'd like to also take an opportunity to thank Warren Lee and his entire team for the help they have given us. Without the help of the county, Sterling Cheatham and the city of Wilmington, the restoration efforts that we get to work on and the support that we get would certainly delay some of the responses you've seen. So I want to thank you, Warren, for all the assistance you provided me during this time. We are still working hand in glove with the county on this response, and we can rest assured, Mr. Chairman and the members of the board, Duke Energy understands exactly what's at stake. We're pushing this as hard as we can to get everybody restored as quickly as possible, and we are certainly available after this to answer any questions anyone may have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, John. At this time, I'd like to ask Warren Lee to say a couple of comments to you. And as he's stepping up here, just commend him and his staff for a tremendous response so far. That's what they prepare for, and we're honored to have someone of his caliber on our team. So Warren, please make a couple of comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to reiterate what you've already heard, that we have a tremendous response team here. We build plans year in, year out. You come here expecting to deal with hurricanes, and occasionally you're thrown a curveball and get a winter storm that impacts the community just as severely as any hurricane that we ever experience. Our team did an outstanding job. We walk a fine line with these events. We deal with public safety continually. We are always mindful of our public safety. We always want to put the public first and make sure that you remain safe. It's difficult when we look at a situation where we have icy bridges and overpasses and roads and balance that with trying to make decisions that will protect the public. We want you to stay at home, stay safe for as long as you can. When the time comes that you can no longer do that, then we make provisions, provide sheltering. And I think we've done an outstanding job with that with our team. We've provided assistance to those who are in need that we are aware of. We continue to monitor that situation, and we will continue to provide the assistance and support that our community deserves. Thank you.
Thank you. We're joined here by representatives of the United Way and the Red Cross, and we thank them and their volunteers and staff for all the work that they're doing with the shelter and just the commitment that they make to our community every single day, crisis or no crisis. At this time, I'd like to call Donnie Hall up to make a couple of comments about fire safety, followed by Joe Suleiman about what the citizens can expect with debris collection and pickup.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to remind the public, as we continue through the recovery efforts here, there's several safety things to keep in mind. As some of our citizens have been without power, they may be using generators. As we continue to use those, please make sure you use those with all safety precautions in place. Do not connect them back to your homes unless you have an approved installed transfer switch, because we do not want to re-energize the grid system that our folks with the utilities are eagerly trying to restore for us. And also make sure if you're refueling those things, make sure that you allow them to cool down and you get them in an area that's well ventilated. Carbon monoxide poisoning is a big concern with this type of event. And as power is being restored, remember the sources of ignition for fires in your homes, whether they're stoves, portable heating devices. Whenever the power comes back on, if those things were left in the on position, there's a high likelihood that they will get energized and possibly could cause a fire. Also, on the safety issue, a lot of the ice is gone, but we also have the problems with people trying to clean up around their homes. They may have to get on top of their roofs to take care of debris that is accumulated on the rooftops. Please use caution. The Hanover County Fire will be responding as normal to medical events as well as fires. So if we get into situations where we're dealing with chainsaw injuries or medical trauma-related type stuff where people are not being careful whenever they're trying to move debris and things like that. So please use caution in those areas.
Good afternoon. I'm Joe Suleiman with the Department of Environmental Management. Immediately following the storm, our staff completed a damage assessment in 3 zones within Hanover County's unincorporated areas. Based on that damage assessment, we recommended to the Board of County Commissioners that we activate our debris management contractors, and those have been activated as of this time. They will be here Monday to outline a plan with us on their progress and how they will complete that. We are also working with the IT department to develop a map, an interactive map, where you can go on there and find out within a day when you will be servicing your areas, which areas are completed and which areas are yet to be scheduled. There will be 2 passes scheduled for the debris removal in the unincorporated areas. As I mentioned before, those will be scheduled and available online through an interactive map. Those service areas, one thing we need to point out to our residents is that as you place your debris out for collection, please place it at the curb in the right-of-way, and all that material will be removed. Make sure it's not blocking any fire hydrants, mailboxes, or other fixed objects. Any hanging or leaning limbs that are over the right-of-way, we'll also remove those as well. In the meantime, if you have the means, a pickup truck or a trailer, and have debris you want to get rid of it right away, the New Hanover County landfill is accepting yard debris at no charge to residents. Just please let the scale house personnel know that it is storm debris cleanup material, and I will be available afterwards to answer any questions. Thank you.
And citizens, always remember to go to nhcgov.com. There is a tab on the homepage, 2014 storm response, to remind yourself of these announcements and other forthcoming announcements. Always stay in touch with your county government. We do the very best we can to get information out to you as quickly as possible on the website and through the media. I also, in conclusion, I'd like to recognize our sheriff and ask him to step forward and say a couple of words. It's his deputies that are out there responding to the 2,900 or so 911 calls that spiked over the last couple of days. And so I'd like for him to comment on that, and thank you all for coming. But that will conclude the pre-prepared comments after the sheriff speaks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to assure all of our citizens that your deputies have been out there. We've beefed up all the squads. We've got some specialized units that have had chainsaws, clearing out the roads. We've been working with emergency management, with fire, and checking any businesses that don't have power. So we are staying out there. We will be there with you until everybody gets their power back. And once again, just want to assure you that your deputies are out there working hard.
Thank you all very much.